How we doing, everybody? This is Let's Be Real with Brad, and today I'm reviewing Malcolm X. Malcolm X was directed by Spike Lee, and it stars Denzel Washington. This film is about Malcolm X, black activist leader throughout the 50s and 60s that was a monumental part of that time period with Martin Luther King and everything else that was going on through the Jim Crow laws. This goes through his entire life from when he was a hustler, going to prison, converting to Islam. But what I find so fascinating about this film is that they make Malcolm X so interesting and so entertaining to watch. I've always found Malcolm X a really interesting person to begin with just because of his ideas and the way he thinks about things. Has always kind of questioned some things that some of them I don't necessarily agree with, but I do agree with some of them, so it always has pushed that for me. But this film pushed it even more and shows more of an advance and inner scope of who he truly was. The best part of this film is that it is so entertaining. It's so engaging, and it feels like it's an actual movie, an actual character study of Malcolm X, and not just going through the history of events like, all right, we gotta go to this part, oh, we gotta go to this part. It feels like when they go to each parts of the film, they spend a good amount of time here and developing it and showing the trueness of what was happening during that time, whether he was in prison, whether he was going to Elijah Muhammad and learning from his teachings. I feel like everything was just really explained so well. Being a 3-hour and 21-minute movie and being so entertaining, I mean, you got to give it a little more points here. I mean, that's a really hard thing to do because a lot of movies like these, sometimes they can just kind of have pacing issues, or in the middle of the film, you're like, let's pace up a little bit. And this film, don't worry, has some pacing issues. But I feel as though, like, for the majority of the film, it is so great. And I always was engaged with what was happening. Denzel delivers an amazing performance and should have won the Oscar over Al Pacino for Scent of a Woman. He does an awesome job in that film, but the fact that Denzel is basically playing like 3 to 4 characters as Malcolm X is completely different in all the phases of his life, like completely different. He was just lost into this movie, and he just became Malcolm X. Denzel still proves from the 90s and all the way till now that he is one of the greatest actors working today, and maybe one of the greatest actors of all time. He steals the entire show and every scene that he's in. The writing of this film is phenomenal. Everything that was being talked about was super engaging. It flowed briskly from certain scenes that always kept moving forward, and I was always knowing what was happening. They explained everything that wasn't using so much exposition, but also at the same time making it easier for everyone to understand what was happening. Spike Lee did an amazing job directing this film. Every shot that he has always keeps me immersed into the film, and it always made those emotional moments bring more emotion. Sometimes you get the up close moments, or sometimes it's this wide, long shot of this magnificent spectrum that Malcolm has of when he's giving a speech. You feel the power that Malcolm has in so many of these scenes, and that's just due to Spike Lee's directing. Most of it is not being said or what is done. It's just the way the camera's positioned, and the way we are seeing Malcolm and the way Lee wants us to see him. The music was really, really phenomenal. The soundtrack is awesome, as each song that came out for its period year was used appropriately. The score was really great, and it was used awesome with the soundtrack being mixed together. Production design was absolutely tremendous. Everything looked so real. Like I was in the 40s and the 60s. I don't know how they shot some of these. I don't know if some of them were in the actual city part or in the prison was an actual prison where they had to design a set for, but everything looked tremendous. Cinematography was amazing. I don't know if it's just me, because it's just my own opinion, and I didn't really look up what everybody else thought, but the cinematography changes throughout the film. So like in the 40s, sometimes a little more grainy, that the color's kind of not full resolution to it just because of the time. And then once you get to like 60s, it looks better, but you could still, it kind of looks old. Like if I were to watch this movie and not know it was from the 90s, I probably wouldn't have noticed around the 90s at all. It was such a great creative choice for this film, and it always kept me immersed into the film just a little bit more because it felt like I was truly in the 60s. Sometimes some more modern films don't necessarily do that. She's like, well, this is like a 2020 film, but it's supposed to be set back then, but you have this feeling like, but it is like 2020. So sometimes that doesn't give you an extra step further to the film. The costume design is awesome. All the suits and all the dresses look extremely appropriate for its time and looks really tremendous because everything looks so realistic, whether it's to officers' uniforms or to the suits of Malcolm X or the dresses from the women that he talks to throughout the film. Overall, I mean, it's just a really entertaining and really engaging film that shows every aspect to his life. They show many of the bad stuff, they show many of the good stuff, but this film kind of challenges you to make your own opinion, which is something I love. Sure, it may have a tiny bit of bias saying like Malcolm was a leader, and I truly do believe he was in my personal opinion, but it challenges you as the other characters challenge Malcolm as well. As some of the people that he loves and are his friends agree with him, and some of them, like his wife, are like, you need to watch what you're doing because I'm not necessarily agreeing with some of the stuff that you're doing. I thought that was such an amazing aspect, and they don't forget to show those moments. We should be making opinions for ourselves. We should be trying to figure out, is this person actually bad? Is this person actually good? What outweighs the other? Films like these are the ones that need to be made, not just hand-fed as like, oh, this was a great guy, oh, this was a bad person. In some instances, yes, one could just be completely sided. But I think Malcolm X was kind of in between of many of those things because I believe this is a really important and influential film. I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. So if you really enjoy this review, please like, share the video. Please subscribe. It really helps the channel. So if you guys have been doing all those things, I really appreciate you and I really love you guys. So what is your favorite Spike Lee movie? Please comment down below. Or what are some of the movies that you've been looking forward to in the next couple weeks, as some theaters are starting to open up, which means there's going to be more reviews for me to do, and maybe I can get some more views and really boost up this channel and to do something that I really want to do for the rest of my life if I can do it. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.